Hello and welcome to the KPI Institute's webinar, How to Design a Strategic Dashboard. My name is Andrei Costa and I will be your host for today along with our presenter, Torin Gevassos. This webinar is part of a series of free educational materials that aim to enhance the knowledge and know-how of those interested, while also creating a bridge between us as a company and you, our public. The KPI Institute is a research organization specialized in business performance. It operates research programs in 12 practice domains, each linked to a certification course, ranging from strategy and KPIs to employee performance, and from customer service to innovation performance. The KPI Institute continuously builds on its values of best know-how, data and facts, and common sense to achieve its mission of integrating performance as a discipline through research publications and, what interests us today, through educational programs such as this webinar. Speaking of which, in today's webinar, you will learn how strategic dashboards differ from other types of dashboards, how to tell a story with KPIs, actions, risks, objectives, how to link strategy to operations, and many more. It will be delivered by Torin Gevassos, CEO and founder of Corporator, an all-around enterprise performance management professional. He is an experienced practitioner of management methodologies such as working with the balanced scorecard, a consultant and advisor to enterprises using these methodologies, and an innovative software solutions provider to enterprises that aspire towards performance excellence. As a speaker, he has delivered presentations about performance management topics at conferences and universities worldwide. This presentation lasts between 30 to 40 minutes. Please feel free to ask any questions you might have during the webinar, as they will be answered at the end of the presentation in our Q&A session. Enjoy the KPI Institute's and Corporator's webinar, How to Design a Strategic Dashboard. Now I would like to invite Mr. Vassos to begin his presentation.
Thank you so much, Andre, and welcome to this webinar about how to design a strategic dashboard. Let me just start with 2 slides about our company, and then I will go directly into and give you some insight about dashboarding, types of dashboards, first, second, third generation of dashboarding. But Corporator is a software company in many locations around the world. We have about 1,000 customers that have used our software and our platform for strategic dashboarding or business dashboards. We work with Gartner, different technology partners. We are also delivering our services in the cloud and work with the big consulting companies. I'm going to describe what Gartner says about Corporator, because we're in the corporate performance management or strategic corporate performance management magic quadrant. And they say something about flexibility. They talk about a business modeling platform and it's configurable by business users. So are the dashboards handled by IT or is it handled by business? What Gartner says about us is that it's handled by business. Our users, our customers spans from all over the world in all industry in all sizes. And these are just a couple of logos that we have put up there. But going to the subject today, dashboard. I was just thinking, well, what is Wikipedia saying dashboard is? And I just found here that they said it's a graphical summary of various pieces of important information, typically used to give an overview of the business. And then you can ask yourself, who is using the dashboard and what kind of dashboards do we have? You know, like, you have dashboards for pilots, you have dashboards for drivers, you have dashboards for space operators, etc. But who in the business is actually using the dashboards and how should it be designed and how can they all tie into strategy and go beyond numbers and analytics and quantitative information. If I take a look at the journey and history of dashboarding, when I started, I worked for a Fortune 250 company, and this was back in the end of the 90s. And I bought some technology, and I was going to show some data, into a web browser, and that is what I describe as first generation dashboard. It was kind of take a number from a database or a data warehouse and bring it up in the front end. So this is the first generation. But second generation is more what they call the insight or analytical dashboard, and this is also what I call the second generation. It's actually data combined, so you get insight. So you probably heard about modern BI platforms like Click, Tableau, and these tools, Power BI for Microsoft. A lot of these deliver good insight, which is important, but it's not the whole picture. If you just take an aviation and a pilot and a journey and all that, you know what pilot is going to do. He needs actually to take the plane from insight, and he needs to do something. A lot of what we have seen is dashboards just consuming information, but you actually need to run your business, or in this case, you need actually to direct your plane and start, you know, the engines and really kind of run the plane towards a destination. So we see more and more that going from insight to impact, which are more action-oriented dashboards, and then you will see more initiatives, put people responsible. Probably they have a meeting management as a part of the dashboard, and they actually run the processes as well. So this is what I call third generation dashboard. And of course, from impact, as a pilot, you will take the journey towards the destination, and this is what I call the fourth generation. So action is okay, but you need to act to actually end up someplace where your aircraft, or you probably have a destination, or you have a strategy that you are actually navigating towards. So this is more building the business aspect or business orchestration, as we say it in Corporator, to get this beyond just number and KPIs and quantitative tables and charts and graphs. I'll show you examples of this, but just to summarize, facts gives you insight. Insight can give you actually the basis in order to operate. You operate towards a journey, and you go towards a destination. So if you want to become a pilot, these are the 4 steps in order to reach the destination. If we just translate this over to you know, the IT software landscape, this is what we see a lot of. You know, we see a lot of people bothering about or working hard with data lakes, data warehouses, and they put on top of this business intelligence analytic tool, and then they have a traditional dashboard. But we don't see that this is giving business outcome. Research from Gartner shows that more than 70% of dashboarding is actually not giving you know, business value. So what is missing here? What we see is process. You need to put the insight into a process, and you need to put it into a business context. So this is what we call the business management platform. It's a platform that combines facts, insight, process, and business, and takes you all the way through to business outcome. So if you just put on the pilot journey, have facts, insight, operate, journey, destination, that's kind of what it's all about. And we just need to be very aware that we have these kind of aspects of the dashboarding when we are doing the dashboarding. So how does a strategic dashboard look? If I can just, I will show soon a demo, but I would like to say that there are various pilots actually that are a part of this business journey. You have the CFO, you have the project portfolio manager, you have the head of risk and compliance, you have the head of quality, sales, HR, operations, IT, all the functional domains are here. And I think they all need to be aligned with overall strategy, because the CFO, he or she needs to connect all the financial resources to achieving objectives and strategy of the company. The same with the project portfolio manager. he or she needs to connect to the strategy and make sure that we are actually doing the right things. Risk also and risk appetite is also defined and managed by the company's strategy. Quality processes are connected to strategy through frameworks like EFQM, Lean, Six Sigma, etc. Competence management, annual assignment are also linked to the objectives that the company would like to achieve. Continuous improvement also linked, and IT and digital transformation are competitive advantages that also needs to be connected. So in a way, you would like the whole corporation actually to be aligned around the company strategy. And strategy is actually the corporate glue binding it all together. That's why it's so important to have a strategic dashboard, a strategic business dashboard. But if you look in the cockpit today, or in a lot of the dashboards today that you find in corporations, they are not equipped for the journey. And let me just show here, map, if you see here, bottom right, the map component that shows the direction, the strategy. They are not strategic. You know, they have not built in the strategic dimension, where to go, and the whole kind of plan of the corporation. We see very much kind of domain-specific dashboard. Yeah, we have dashboard for finance. Yeah, we have made an operational dashboard for our production facilities. You know, oh yeah, we have a we have something. We have a risk dashboard or whatever. So a lot of these dashboards are very one-dimensional, focusing on one specific business domain. Of course, you need to have the stick, you know, you need to act. So you need to put the things into processes and actually be able to navigate. Here I'm saying also you need messages, you know, on the upper left here, you see text are coming in, you know, it's all about messages from the control tower. A lot of these tools, they lack the verbal, you know, aspect, the text, the collaboration aspect, you know, because you collaborate with the control tower when you are navigating an aircraft. Assessment, I see most dashboards have issues with actually having assessment and periodic assessment into their dashboards. But this is also important. You need to automate the processes. So what happens if a KPI turns red? Should there be any alert? Should there be any actions taken? So this is what an autopilot does in the plane. It actually automates the processes, and you can actually automate the whole dashboarding, not only getting the data into the dashboard, but actually say, if this happened, call for a meeting. If this risk is exceeding this kind of a risk exposure, escalate it. Call for a risk management meeting, etc. So these kind of processes can actually be put in place and more or less programmed or scripted like an autopilot. Detection, if alert goes on, go to lower attitude. This is about governance, and dashboards should also have governance. And of course, the unexpected always happens. Change route, there is a precedent plane coming over here, so you need to kind of divert 60 degrees west, for example. And this is also with business, the agility and change. So actually the dashboards become a living mechanism, not a static, you know, reporting tool. What we have done when we created software platform for dashboarding, corporate performance management, and business applications, what we've done is we have tried to go and look at what businesses really needs. And you know, when you go out and ask, so what do you need? You get a lot of different answers, and we just see that based on who you ask, you will get an answer. This just reminds me about a nice story from from India. It's a story about the blindfolded men and an elephant, and they were all blindfolded before they were sent into this elephant, and they were asked, well, what do you see? Well, what do you experience? the guy sitting on top of the elephant, seeing the ears of the elephant is actually making, you know, the air coming towards him. He said, "Oh, I know what this is. It's a fan." And you have different people. It's a spear. You know, the guy taking the tusk, trunk. He says, "Oh, it's a snake." And the lady with a foot is a tree. It's a wall. It's a rope. So we all kind of have our versions of this, but how can we define the elephant? How can we get the holistic picture of the corporation? I think what dashboard people need to understand is that CXOs and business people work with business frameworks and business models, and we need to speak the business language. So you have different, you know, models like strategy, one-page strategy, McKinsey 7S. You have the balance scorecard. You have COSO for risk, the TQM, management by objectives, PESTILE, blue ocean strategy, etc. So we just need to make sure that the business frameworks are actually represented in the dashboards, because that's what gives the business value and the business side of this. All right. So what we did is we actually looked at all the functional silos in an organization, and we saw some commonalities when we constructed our business management platform. We saw that everybody worked with the business model framework. So this was with strategy, it was with project portfolio management, it was with governance, risk, and compliance. Finance have their business models, quality have their kind of Deming, continuous improvement, etc. HR have their, etc. So what is important is to have a business model framework in your dashboarding, or at least support for it. And then we found out that when they were dashboarding, they would like to measure things, which is actually, you know, in all dashboards. But they would also like to collect information, because not everything comes from the data warehouse. They would like to assess, put in their own assessments. They would like to approve things like, now this comes up, can I approve this, you know, KPI, or can I approve, you know, an extended resources being spent on this? Can I prioritize up and down different initiatives or projects? So it's not just the consuming of information, you actually work with a dashboard. So it's a bi-directional dashboard. We also see that which dashboards are good for today, or today's dashboards, is analyzing data. But they would also like to publish, not only internally in the corporation, but also externally. They like to communicate, automate, collaborate, calculate, etc. So what we did is we decoded business into 250 building blocks representing functionality. And I use the analogy here with Lego. With Lego, if you just have the smallest pieces, you can actually build a house, you can build a boat, you can build a car, you can build almost whatever you want. So this is what we have done with the world's first business management platform, that we can build all these business applications / dashboards with these objects. So now I'm going to show you how a quick demo. This is a demo that we have done with let me see here. All right. So this is a demo that we have done with one company, and it's an oil and gas. It's a major oil and gas corporation. And what they would like to have is they would like to have the corporate strategy here. They would like to see the management meeting. So they would actually like to do something. They would like to work in the application. Then they would like to have the initiatives. They would like to have reports. They would also like to make it a bit personal with having this personal view with my page. So here they can go in and you know, navigate directly into the different organizations. And what I would like to do now is to go in and show just how they have constructed this. You know, so this is the opening page. This is the strategic alignment with purpose. Why do we exist? the strategic focus, where we are heading, like financial. They view it from via different lenses: internal processes, financial, stakeholders. And here you also see the red, yellow, green based on how they are performing in these kind of aspects. Here you have some tactical focus, and you also have some operational focus. What they said was important was we would like to see some key figures that are really key for us. So we ended up with 6 key figures. They also have the initiatives here, the initiative portfolio, where it's acceptable and unacceptable, so they can easily go in and kind of see where are we having challenges with the initiatives. They would also like to connect the strategic risk and also have a quick navigation down to value chain. I'll also show some value chain. So let's just go in here on this one. This is an objective: deliver continuous improvement in health, safety, and environmental, which is very important for an oil company. So what you see here is we have put up some key numbers, KPIs. We have enriched the website here, or the application here, with some assessment. And what you can do here, you see here, these are the objects that I was talking about. So this is one of the objects. It's actually an assessment where you actually can go in, put up your assessment, etc. And these texts that you see here is actually being used when we produce reports, annual reports, PowerPoint decks, etc. So it's built on the principle you only report once, and then you just reuse, because these texts and the assessment will be used out in PowerPoints, etc. So for example, Airbus is producing all their PowerPoint decks, like 191 PowerPoint pages comes out for the different business units. And they take the KPIs, they take the numbers, they take the assessment, etc. What you see here is also on the lower right here, you see alignment. So you can actually see exploration has also these kind of HSEQ. So these organizations are also aligned here. So I can click here. I actually go here into the exploration department. So it's easy navigation. You can find how the whole organization is aligned around this. So strategic alignment. It's also important to have a descriptive text. What is it that we are focusing on? How are we defining this? What's included? What's not included? So this is KPIs, and they are the indicators illustrating or saying something if we are actually improving the overall objective. Here we also have added initiatives and projects. So I can actually go and see which projects are helping us to achieve the overall objective. So here I can go and look further down and drill into the initiatives. And here you see responsibility. I can actually sit here and I can add new people, etc. Or I can change people here and say it's actually Malcolm that should be here. So these are just some of the functionality, and again, it's all kind of built on these 250 building blocks. So let me go back a bit and also look at risk. So here you see, here is the project portfolio included. You see the risk is included here, and you can actually see the risk factors development over time. You see the different the risk factors put up in a heat map, and we can actually go further in and look at how this is being worked with risk mitigating actions, etc. So, and of course you can build in benchmarking here and see and really do kind of toggling. How are we performing versus others, internally or externally? I can also go into a KPI here. So now I'm at an objective. I go into a KPI. So here you can see the development of the KPI, actual target, year to date, and I can go further in here and look at the details. But what I would like to pay a bit attention on is actually the breadcrumb here. You see, You actually are in corporate oil and gas. You are in the performance management application. You are focusing on the internal processes. You are in the objective, and you are on the KPI. So you actually see the whole navigation where you are in the business model. And this is actually how we are, building up. So you actually navigate in the business model. You don't navigate in reports. All right. Let's go back to here again, and let me also show you a bit about value driver trees, because KPIs can be on a very low level, or it can be on a higher level. So what we have built up here is a value driver tree of well construction cost. How is well construction cost comprised? So it consists of drilling cost, productive time, non-productive time. And non-productive time is divided into equipment, failure, waiting on weather, etc. So let me just go in here into this. I go into a KPI. I can look at the details of the KPI. What is the problem? What are the challenges? And now I click into analysis, and here is the analytical part or analytical component of the application. And this is probably what you are used to see, a lot of, numbers. And this is where we say the business, the analytic is actually the traditional BI systems are good for. So this is a report from Qlik, or it's a dashboard from Qlik. So I can go in here and start analyzing and say, show me US, how they are doing. But the good thing here is that you use the analytic to gain insight into the business context. So this analytic is put into a non-productive time, and it's linked up in the whole business context. So what we say, use the analytic and contextualize it into the business story. We can also go into reporting, and here I'll just show you an example. So this is a PDF that is being generated. It could be a management report, it could be a PowerPoint, it could be a Word document. So when I go in here and I say, for example, KPI Institute, I save this. So I put it up here, KPI Institute, and when I refresh, you will actually see it's coming down here. So let me just refresh. So it's actually generating the text, and the reports in Word, in PowerPoint, in whatever. Here you see it come up here. So this is actually automating the whole report production, because I don't believe in dashboards can take away the need for actually physical reports like Word, PowerPoint, etc. But what we have done is we have automated this in such a way that you don't have to do copy, cut, and paste, which actually 95% of people are doing today. 95% of all financial reports are copy, cut, and paste. And it's a shame that technology has not taken us further. With Corporator, you can automate all your management reports, decks, etc., and make sure that you don't have to do this cumbersome process. All right. Let me go back here. I'll also show a Power BI integration, because a lot of people that or companies we deal with have their Power BI, and here you see some annual plans, etc., when things should be taking place, etc. But here you see embedded analytics, and I'll just show you here. So this is not just put in a web page into the Corporator system, but this is actually Power BI for Microsoft. And here you see different organizations, because these are all the organizations belonging under Corporator Oil and Gas. Let's say I would like to navigate to this organization, Johan Sverdrup. If I click here now, you will see actually that the whole analytic and the Power BI report is actually coming up with organization Johan Sverdrup. So what we do is we actually contextualize BI, and we put it into the business story, We actually, control the business intelligence tools like Power BI, Click, Tableau, and these kind of tools into the whole strategic dashboarding. All right, coming back to management meeting, we can also go in here and see that Corporator is also being used for management meetings. So here is the meeting agenda, initiatives for review. They can actually flag things that should come up in the meeting. You see the attendees, you see the minutes of meetings, so it's all digitalized. So if you like to digitalize management, Corporator is a very good tool to digitalize management and take you to the next level. All right, that was the demo. So let me continue on, just to summarize a bit, what are BI tools versus Corporator? So today's BI tools, they provide analytical dashboard. Very often they are report oriented, so it's a report. You navigate in a report. Corporator is a business model oriented configuration tool where you actually navigate in business models. A dashboard allows you to explore a data model. Corporator allows you to explore a business model. Here in the BI world, you actually work with filters where you say, show me this year, this product, this organization, etc. But in Corporator, you navigate in a business model depth, and you have more than just the numbers. BI tools focusing on analyzing. Corporator focus on analyze, plan, and execute. So it has also the planning and execution side of it. And one thing is that I would like to stress, which kind of almost killed my project when I was not working in Corporator, it's the deviation. I'm coming back to that as a pitfall, but there is a lot of deviation, and that's how you do this with BI. You do workarounds and you do coding in order to be able to reflect your business in these kind of dashboards. And this is also standalone, but Corporator offers an integrated part of a holistic business orchestration platform. Let me take you through the 5 pitfalls, and then I'll show some examples, best practices, and then we are almost done. What I think you should be very aware of when going for a dashboarding is don't think you can just buy a technology stack, because there is a big gap between technology and buying technology and actually have a viable business solution that the business people would like. So typically what people buy is they buy integration tools, they buy data warehouse, they buy visualization, but all these components come with a lot of gaps. Even these 3 components doesn't take you to a business solution. So we've just identified a lot of things that are lacking. I won't spend much time here, but there's a lot of things lacking in these bi-directional, two-way business, strategic business dashboards. So first, I would like to say, can you tell the story with technology? So if your dashboard can't tell the story with technology, it's kind of not good. Let me just go through a quick kind of introduction about storytelling. Let's say you have an objective. As a human, you say, I'm having a birthday. One of the objectives is to have an inflated balloon. So how can you make sure that the balloon is inflated? Well, you can measure it, by a lagging indicator, pressure level measured in bar. So if the inside pressure is bigger than the outside, it's actually in the process of being inflated. Some of the lead indicators or drivers is number of pumps per second. That's actually resulting in the lag indicator. It could also be hours used in gym. That can also be an indicator of that will help the balloon being inflated. And then you also need initiatives, actions, use a pump. This guy could just blow the balloon with his mouth, but he's actually done an investment and actually use a pump in order to get the balloon inflated. What are the risks here? Well, the balloon can explode. The hose gets disconnected, from the pump, or the man gets heart attack, etc. So these are the storytelling that you need a dashboard to tell, and also you need target. So make sure that when you do strategic dashboarding or these business dashboards, that it is able to not only show numbers, but actually tell the business story, the journey, the destination, and not only the indicator lamps. Third, a story has a purpose, and I think building purpose in your dashboard is important. So why are we measuring? Why are we having these dashboards? So I've just come up with 8 reasons for dashboarding. You probably like to control people, or make sure that we are moving towards the destination. Probably you would like the dashboard to as a burning platform to create change and really kind of make people move. Some uses dashboards to document competitiveness, or actually do the more analytic approach, identify the cause and effect of the lead and the lag and what is actually giving results. I've also come across companies that say we just need the dashboard. Why? Because everybody expects there is a dashboard. So it's more for we need this. I think to have this as a documentations for decisions made. So when you make a decision, you can go in, you can see why the decision was made, and actually document that. And a lot of people also do personal scorecards, personal dashboards as a basis for bonus and reward. What I like to also say, I've touched upon this, analytics, that people will try to sell you when you are doing dashboarding. It's not the business, it just supports the business. So as you saw here, you need to tell the story. You actually, if I go in here into the value chain, I can go into the value chain. I'm still telling the story. And then you can go into the KPI here, non-productive time. Now you are there. And then when you should start finding out what are the cause-effect relationship here. Why is the non-productive time like this? What is causing it? What can we do, etc. Then you are applying the modern BI tools that you will find in the market today. So use the tools and technologies that are available today, but use it wisely and correctly. One thing I would like to stress as well is software is built fundamentally wrong, and you need to watch out. Software is built for an ideal world, and I don't know if there is anything that we can call ideal world. The belief that the software is built on is there is no exceptions, no deviations. Everything can be fit into tables, columns, and rows. So just think of how fine your business is, and then the software people say you need to fit your real world, your real business world into tables, columns, and row, and you need to just treat everything the same, But we know, and as you can see from the illustration here, although everybody has a gray tie, there is a guy that has a red tie, smiling with the hands up, etc. And this is what you find in every business. Exception is the rule. The real world does not fit into the structures that software people have kind of told you to do. So we have to find a new way of modeling that has flexibility built in. So a lot of these data warehouses that we have seen in the market, the first, second generation, the analytical, the information dashboarding, they do data modeling. But what we need is a flexible business modeling capability that we can do this. I would like to show some dashboards here. This is just something we've done a pilot for Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, taking the whole vision from a country, breaking it down, aligning organizations. These are other, this is more personal employee engagement, innovation, employee pulses, etc. Here is an innovation dashboard where you actually come up with your ideas and it's getting evaluated, prototyped, implemented, etc. Where you actually can work and put up your innovation ideas and have them kind of, processed through, for example, a stage gating approach. Yeah, so here you just see different ways of visualizations of how engaged people are based on how long time, personal more or less, in Dubai and the Emirates. We also have an office. They're working a lot with what they call happiness and happiness index and these kind of things. And it's all about getting people happy. So we've just created these happiness dashboards based on the building blocks, the 250 building blocks that we have. We built GDPR dashboards where you actually can go and work and implement and manage, monitor and follow up the whole GDPR process. So summarized, Corporator has the 4 components of successful business dashboards. We have the four generations. We have the facts, the insights, the operate, and the journey and the destination. Every business domain should be linked to the overall strategy. So you don't have silo-based dashboards, but you actually have an overall strategic business dashboards where all the business domains are linked up. Agility is important. Exception is the rule, and it's important that you buy something that is configurable, that is a no coding, and that's what we represent. So I think that was all from me. I'm putting back now to you, Andre, if there are questions.
All right, thank you very much for your presentation. So far, we've received 2 questions. The first one would be, in your opinion, what would be the training requirements and necessary skills or aptitudes that people should have in order to design and manage a robust KPI and dashboard management system?
I think the most important thing that they need in terms of skill is understanding of the business. Because if this is left with IT is not connected, that much to business. I think you need probably change agents that can actually use the dashboards based on the purpose that you are dashboarding for. So if it's about implementing a strategy, well, that's a purpose. If it's about controlling, if it's about improving, you need the business skills. You need to know what the technology can be used for. You need some psychologist skills as well, because it's all about winning the hearts and the minds of the people.
All right, thank you very much for your answer. The second question would be, can you find report comments in any version of your platform, or is there a specific one?
No, you can, if you have the reporter module, you can create all these reports, and then you sit actually in Word or PowerPoint, and you just define the reports in Word and PowerPoint, and Corporator go and fills out all of these kind of things, charts, assessment, initiatives, risk, etc. It's based on how you would like to have the report. So if there are people that would like to look at are we able to digitalize and help them with the report generation, give us a call or send us an email at sales@corporator.com, and we can look into that.
All right. This is somewhat in relation to the first question. So when you mentioned who would need to have the specific skills to design and manage it, would you say that specific teams such as quality control or strategy and business teams, would these be the most optimal ones to engage in designing dashboards?
I think it should be a multidisciplinary team, so it should not be only one person that run the dashboarding, because I think it should be people from the strategy department. It should be people from the various business domains, and it should be a collaborative effort in actually linking it all together and do the business orchestration that we are saying. So given coming back to the elephant, you know, you need the guy sitting on top of the elephant. You need the guy with the tusk, with a leg. You know, you need all these blindfolded men in order to kind of define it's an elephant. You know, and this is what you should orchestrate. You should orchestrate your business, and then you need more than just one person. So I think it's a multidisciplinary team that should be put together in order to do a real kind of business orchestration of your business.
All right. Now, moving on to a different topic, if you were to explain to someone, how would you best differentiate between a dashboard and a scorecard?
I see people are using, oh, we have a scorecard, but you know, scorecard come from, you know, the golfing thing, where you have a scorecard and you have a scoreboard, and you know it's keeping track of a score. But if you talk about a balanced scorecard, that has more a business context, and it is a business model. It's a framework developed by Kaplan and Norton, Harvard Business School. So if that's the question, then a balanced scorecard has at least the components of a strategy map. It has the components of strategic objectives, perspectives, initiatives, KPIs, targets. So it's kind of a defined model. Dashboard can be whatever. It can be a report. It can be just a chart, and they can say this is a dashboard. It can be 10 charts and a table, and that's a dashboard. So dashboards are more or less some undefined, you know, concepts. But this is where we are trying to say the business dashboards or the strategic dashboards that we have. It has both the data, the insight, the process, the journey, and the destination. So it has everything for that you need for business success.
All right. On the topic of dashboards still, in your opinion, where do you best start to build a holistic dashboard when a company has very many inconsistent, conflicting, and contradicting dashboards already? So there is a very messy environment.
I think there are. If you're happy with your dashboarding the way it is today, you just go on with what you have. But I think the biggest challenges that we see today is that it's costly. It's very kind of domain specific. It's very little agile. It doesn't have all the information you like to have in these dashboards. So I think first of all, you need to win the hearts and the minds of the owners of today's dashboard and say, let's say you have a Power BI and that's your dashboard. What the way you kind of sell this into the organization is that you say, great job, you've done great with your dashboard. So, but this is an analytical dashboard, and the analytical dashboard needs to be put into the business context. It needs to be actionable. We need to put other dimensions into this, etc. And then you actually put the today's dashboard into the corporate system, for example, as the analytical component, because it's good that they have done this, but they have only done the two first boxes, you know, data and analytics, the insight. So that's what we see is the most, you know, biggest mistake today, that they think they have something that gives them business value, but they only have parts of the elephant, if I can use that analogy. So we're working with a big oil company, one of the biggest oil companies, and they had 4, 5, 6 dashboards from 4. Or they have more dashboards, but they had Microsoft, they had Tableau, they had Click, they had all these analytical dashboards, and then they started building the dashboards into the SharePoint. And SharePoint is a document management system with good workflow, etc. but it's not meant for actually telling the story and doing all the what you need to do, what I just described in my presentation. So you end up in a very messy kind of situation where you try to make tools what they are not built for. So SharePoint is good for document management. Power BI is good for analytic and analyzing data, but don't try to make it into a strategic business application, because that's not what it is. Or if you try to take it to that level, it's very expensive. And this is what we saw with our clients spent millions, a couple of years, didn't produce anything to business. So it's important that you actually can show this to business very fast and convince them without spending so much money.
All right. Now, a specific question relating to the Corporator platform. Does the platform support cause-effect maps as well?
Yeah, I just show you the cause-effect maps.
All right. And another one would be, are dashboards completely dynamic, meaning that people can make any kind of dashboard that may not necessarily be based on their company's strategy?
Yeah. So we have customers that are not linking in things into strategy. So this is more about how you tell the story. If you don't tell the strategy story, you probably have other stories to tell. So it might just be we are focusing on operational efficiency. Of course, operational efficiency is a part of your strategy, but you can build dashboards that are only built on operational efficiency, and, for example, Deming's quality circle with plan, do, check, act. So you don't have to take the elephant. You can take the leg, or you can take the air or whatever, and build whatever you want.
All right. Now, another question would be, what is your experience introducing the platform in large corporate organizations? Would it be first pilot in a specific business group, and then business group or line, and then scale up, or more top down for all?
No, we have several approaches. So with one large corporation, we were just replacing their tool because they couldn't do what the company would like to. So they had all the requirements. They had a very dedicated team, and they just bought it, and implemented this for the company. We have others that say, okay, let's test this on one division, and they run for one division. But I think piloting, that's where you can see if this is going to fly or not. I think do a 1 week proof of concept, and check what you can get out of the various vendors out there. If they cannot deliver the data, the insight, the process, the journey, and take you all the way to destination, you should just don't go with them. So try also to challenge the vendors out there and say, how is agility? This is true for this KPI should be used for all kind of organizations in my division, except from this. Or the threshold should be like this, except for this, or the thresholds are like this, but not for June, or etc. So be very demanding when you are coming up with the proof of concept, because the way BI providers lure you today is they go with the most perfect data sets, and they go and show you value of the data, which is good. But that is just a part of it, it's giving you insight. But so try to challenge, try to kind of ask the vendors to provide your business story, your visualization, your model, your access model, etc., etc. So just one small thing. A lot of these dashboards are not time-based. Time is just it's just a dimension, a filter in a report. But what if a KPI should you should stop using a KPI in December, and from January it should not be used anymore? So this is what I in the data warehouse language called slowly changing dimensions. How is this handled? Are you able to actually say, when I go back 1 year, I can see the KPI. When I go forward a year, I don't see the KPI. How is the agility around this handled? So also text, I've seen BI vendors say, yeah, we can provide text. You can write your own assessment here. But what if you change period and say, now I go from May to June? Can I put in a new comment from June? And then I go to August, can I put in a new assessment for August? Can I go back to see May, what I was saying in May? So the whole traceability, the audit, everything, it's very important that it's there. Because I've just seen kind of like Post-it notes put into a report, and they claim we can put assessments in here, but it's not working.
All right, and now 3 more questions, and after that, the Q&A time is up.
Yeah.
Can you provide us with a very rough estimate of where, if someone were to design, operate, and maintain a dashboard, where could they try to cut costs?
I think they could cut cost on all the initiatives that are out there, because there are a lot of initiatives out there. I think they could cut cost on the data warehousing, because data warehousing is actually trying to program a lot of the logic into the data warehouse. So there are 2 options. Either you program the logic of what you're showing into the front end, the web interface, or you are programming it into the data warehouse. We have a mid layer where we actually do the modeling. Gartner says it's a reusable calculation layer, it's a business semantic layer, etc. It's actually a modeling layer that removes the complexity of the data warehouse and the coding. So I think a lot of these projects that are out there today, it's a cheap entrance, but it's a very expensive kind of completion. My project that I did 20 years ago, I know it's a long time, but they said it should cost $500,000. End up spending tens of millions. So it's not the software that costs; it's actually the process of trying to keep up with the changing scope and agility, etc., that you find today. So you can save a lot on the IT programming, the running this as well. So these costs, and of course third-party costs as well, with third-party software costs.
All right. The second to last question would be, when a company has holistic dashboards with multiple legacy systems, where would important data be fetched from?
Yeah, the data would, we have what we call an ETL tool built into Corporator. So that's a part of the platform. It's a part of the automation part. So what we do is we connect to SAP, Oracle, Microsoft, all the legacy systems, and we pull the data into in memory, so it should go blasting fast. So you can actually, you do memory reporting, so in-memory reporting. So we can automate, or if you have done the groundwork or done the work of building data warehouses, data lakes, or what they also call operational data store, we can also put Corporate on top of that.
All right, and now the last question. Do you happen to know what is the smallest size of a company applying for your tool?
What is the
what's the
size?
smallest company, that has ever applied to use the tool?
Well, we have companies down to 60 employees, but They also, and we have up to 110,000, so it's a big range, but I think the small size companies as well, well, the smallest we have is actually the Norwegian oil, state oil company. So they have billions and billions that they are kind of representing. So it's a huge company in terms of billion, but in terms of people, it's a small company. But it just shows that you don't have to be, a massive amount of people in order to use this. If it becomes too small, you can go with Excel and PowerPoint because it's a small team of 10, 20 people, But as soon as you as you reach a certain size, this is beneficial.
All right, thank you very much for your answers, and this brings us to the end of our webinar.
Yeah.
Mr. Vassus, do you have any last words for our listeners?
No, I would just say please reach out to us, sales@corporator.com. And if you have questions, if you like to do a trial run, if you like to have a demonstration, if you like us to model your business story inside Corporator and show how this can look like, we are very much happy to help you on that. So feel free to contact me, and we'll take it from there.
All right, thank you very much once again for your presentation. The KPI Institute appreciates your interest in the webinar How to Design a Strategic Dashboard. Follow our websites and our social media channels to find out more details about our next webinars when they get posted. Also, if you are interested in getting a certification granted by the KPI Institute on vital areas within the performance management discipline, you can explore our scheduled courses on marketplace.kpiinstitute.org. Moreover, if you need more clarity regarding your performance data, we highly recommend you go over at corporator.com and take a look at their platform, as it provides a comprehensive approach to managing your information. It can be very easily customized in numerous ways, and so far it has a 95% customer retention rate, which frankly speaks for itself. Thank you once again for your participation. We wish you the best of performance and have a nice day.